up, President Donald Trump makes a full 180 on what he expects for the future of the Epstein files, how he could sway the House vote. The government shutdown is over, but student travel concerns still linger. We have an OU student's personal story.
And we have a chance to put a damper in the drought this week. I'll let you know the timing and how much rain we're really going to be talking coming up in the full forecast. This is OU Nightly.
Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Colson Pocock.
And I'm Kevin Daniel. It was a record-breaking weekend for Oklahoma weather, so we'll waste no time. Head over to OU Nightly meteorologist Aiden Bruns. Aiden, just how record-breaking was this past weekend?
Kevin, I can tell you it was a warm record-breaking weekend for sure by quite a few degrees. This is so above average for us that we've been breaking records 3 days in a row this weekend. 81 is the new record for Friday, 83, and then 88 on Sunday. Just how warm that is. That's almost 90 degrees this late in November. We won't be breaking any records today, but we are still warm, 81 degrees here in Norman and across the metro. Pretty similar story. The state has a few 70s across the board, but coming up in the full forecast, we're going to be talking about some rain chances that could be cooling down those temperatures, as well as the holiday lights that might be on the South Oval this week.
All right, thanks, Aiden. In a stark reversal, President Donald Trump now urges House Republicans to vote to release files related to the case of late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Karen Caifa has the details from Washington.
With a House vote looming and a mass of Republican defections expected, President Donald Trump making a reversal. In a Truth Social post Sunday night, Trump wrote, quote, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide and it's time to move on from this Democrat hoax. A House vote is expected as early as Tuesday after a bipartisan effort by Democratic Representative Ro Khanna of California and Republican Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky gathered enough signatures to force a vote. Massie told ABC News on Sunday he predicts more than 100 House Republicans could vote in favor of releasing the government's files related to the disgraced financier and convicted sex offender who died in prison in 2019. Trump has said he and Epstein were one-time friends. The president has never been linked to any wrongdoing in the crimes committed by Epstein.
I think we could have a deluge of Republicans. There could be 100 or more. I'm hoping to get a veto-proof majority on this legislation when it comes up for a vote.
The effort has prompted a split between Trump and previous close political allies like Massie, who he attacked on social media on Friday, and Georgia Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who said Sunday she doesn't understand why the president had been fighting the files release, as she doesn't believe he's done anything wrong.
I have no idea what's in the files. I can't even guess, but that is the questions everyone is asking, is why fight this so hard?
The House measure would have to pass the Republican-led Senate, and Trump has not said whether he would sign such a bill if it reached his desk. He also could order the release of the documents without Congress. In Washington, I'm Karen Caifa.
The House is expected to vote tomorrow, and we'll bring you a full rundown of that vote.
A federal judge says the indictment against former FBI Director James Comey may be tainted. OU Nightly's Caroline Kramer has that and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
Yes, a federal judge orders the Justice Department to turn over all grand jury materials in the case against former FBI Director James Comey. Comey is charged with lying to Congress and obstructing a congressional proceeding during a testimony he gave in 2020 before a Senate committee. In a 24-page ruling, the federal judge describes the criminal case as a rushed investigative process and lacks attitude towards Comey's constitutional rights. Comey pleaded not guilty. The trial is now scheduled for January 5th. The UN Security Council votes to back President Donald Trump's peace plan in Gaza. Much of the plan for Israel and the Palestinian group Hamas remains uncertain as occasional outbreaks of violence threaten the plan. But the resolution backs establishing a board of peace headed by the president himself to temporarily govern Gaza. And over the weekend, dozens of people were arrested in Charlotte, North Carolina during the Department of Homeland Security's latest targeted immigration blitz. North Carolina's Governor Josh Steen expressed his concerns, saying the effort is stoking fear, not making Charlotte safer.
We've seen masked, heavily armed agents in paramilitary garb driving unmarked cars. targeting American citizens based on their skin color, racially profiling, and picking up random people in parking lots and off of our sidewalk.
Protests have sprung up, businesses have closed, and events have been canceled in response to the enforcement activity. Colson, Kevin.
Thanks, Caroline. It's been 4 days since the government reopened, but a Norman business still has concerns. OU Nightly's Gracie Steinbrink spoke with a local business about the effects of the shutdown.
The longest U.S. government shutdown may be over, but Norman businesses and residents are still feeling the effects. Meals on Wheels in Norman is a service that delivers meals for older Oklahomans, and they say they've seen an increase in demand.
I would say last week we probably signed up about 15 people. So an average is probably 2 or 3 a week, at least, triple, quadrupled our numbers.
Meals on Wheels has been able to keep meals in the hands that need them with help from the community. However, they are concerned for their clients.
30% of our clients, the only meal they get is the meal that we deliver to them. And so the fact that they're also not going to have their food stamps or whatever or SNAP benefits is truly affecting them. And we live in America, our people shouldn't be hungry.
The government will only receive funding through the end of January. And if lawmakers can't come to an agreement, another shutdown could hit hard this time.
The sustainability of that, I think, could be very different. I think it would definitely put a strain on our resources and on our manpower if it lasted much longer, for sure.
They have this message for elected leaders in Washington, D.C.
This is more than just about the budget, more than just about policies, it's about people.
Reporting from Norman, Gracie Steinbrink, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Gracie. If you want to volunteer or donate to Meals on Wheels in Norman, visit their website at mealsonwheelsnorman.com.
And coming up, tariffs are affecting the prices of many grocery store items. See what Thanksgiving staples are more expensive than usual next.
And hear from a student and her struggle to find flights home for the holidays when we come back.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over. Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together.
It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking, well, and never let them out of our sight. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Popular weight loss drugs are cutting the costs for customers who pay with cash instead of going through insurance. OU Nightly's Madison Dealey has that and more in today's Money Matters.
Yes, Kevin, the drug-making company Novo Nordisk cuts direct-to-consumer prices for Wegovy and Ozempic. For existing cash-paying patients, their weight loss drugs will now cost $150 less a month. As for new customers, they can get the first 2 months at a discounted price of $199. The announcement comes days after President Donald Trump strikes a deal with the company to make it easier for Americans to access GLP-1 drugs. With holidays right around the corner, expect less Thanksgiving staples on the table. Average grocery store prices are 3% higher than last year. Popular groceries like potatoes, meats, vegetables, and bakery products are more expensive. Imported wine costs 5 to 12% more because of recent tariffs. Walgreens announces hourly employees will not be paid vacation time. The pharmacy last month announced it was laying off nearly 80 corporate employees after being acquired by Sycamore Partners. Nearly 1,200 stores will soon be closed because of underperformance. Soon, many will be hitting the roads for Thanksgiving. According to Gas Buddy, prices are down to $2.40 a gallon in Oklahoma City. Colson, Kevin.
All right, thanks, Madison. The government shutdown is still having major effects on flights. It's also putting some students' travel plans on hold. Reporter Emerson Mays tells us why one international student may not make it home.
With the holidays approaching, thousands of travelers are trying to head home, but some plans are now uncertain. The government shutdown is disrupting airports nationwide, and for OU student Pravina Jackson, that could mean missing her first trip home in over 2 years.
My dad was buying the tickets, and obviously you hear things and my dad sending me things from Malaysia, from back at home. Telling me about the government shutdown.
Booking a flight is stressful, but for her, connecting flights and confusing refund rules make getting home this holiday season even harder.
There's so many flights involving this, and there's so many exchanges between all those flights, and if you miss one, you're going to miss the other.
And this trip is about more than just getting home. After 2 years apart, she'll be with her mom to celebrate her 50th birthday.
I'm just putting my faith in God and just hoping that things work out and that everything's open and everything's available again.
For now, she waits, hoping that a government shutdown won't keep her from family moments she's been missing. I'm Emerson Mays, OU Nightly.
Thank you, Emerson. Since the shutdown began, more than 2,500 flights have been canceled nationwide amid FAA-mandated cuts. We will keep tracking how the shutdown affects flights and travelers across the country. And coming up, 118 years old may sound old, but Oklahoma, you sure are doing fine.
The Sooner State recently celebrated its birthday. More on its rich history when we come back.
And you're going to need an umbrella or a rain jacket in your backpack this week. So I'll let you know the timing and how much rain we're talking after the break.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Welcome back to OU Nightly, everyone. Happy Monday. It's been a warm day once again, but taking a look outside on our Weather Center camera, you can see those fall colors still hanging around down on South Campus near Highway 9, but temperatures right now are not feeling too much like fall. We've been pretty lucky with how warm it has been, but we're currently sitting at 80 degrees here in Norman in pretty calm conditions otherwise. But heading out to this evening, if you do have plans, temperatures will be cooling down pretty quickly, but not too much out of this warm trend we've had. So we're going to be into the 60s around 8 o'clock tonight. Overnight lows are still going to be well above average, probably 30 degrees above average. But as you head out the door tomorrow, here's what to expect. You might need a sweatshirt in the morning like it has been, but we warm up pretty fast and temperatures get into the mid to upper 70s for highs. So you can definitely shed a layer as you get to class in the afternoon. So looking pretty nice out there. Once again, it's not going to be too breezy, calm conditions. We do have a cold front coming through tomorrow, which is why we have this kind of harsh line of where the 70s are and where the 80s are. So that's going to be 75 for a high here in Norman. Up towards the northwest, we're looking at lower 70s and even 66 degrees in Guyman. More so 80s to the southwest or southeast for us, excuse me. But again, average is 60 degrees. So this is still a warm day for us. Otherwise, we are looking at the South Oval Series Holiday Lights Extravaganza, I want to call it, for Wednesday. They're gonna have reindeer on the South Oval as well as Santa Claus and some Christmas lights. That's on Wednesday starting at 6 p.m. So if you're heading out there, here's what you can expect. Temperatures are going to be pretty similar again, 60s and 70s for lows as we get into the later evening hours. So you definitely can bring a sweater if you want to feel more of that Christmas spirit. I know it's not even Thanksgiving yet, but something to look forward to with the holidays coming up. But we do have this drought still going on. We've been talking about it all month long, and there's a good chance we're going to finally start to put a damper into it later this week. So we're still going to stay dry. Here's how it looks on Futurecast. A sunny day for us again tomorrow, staying dry. The clouds start to move in a little bit on Wednesday. There's a few slight chances for some showers towards the southeast. Ardmore could get some thunderstorms on Wednesday evening, but Thursday is when we're looking at a little bit more rain for us here in Norman. Starting as you head out the door, you're going to need the umbrella and the rain jacket, and it's going to continue throughout the afternoon. We may get a break around 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock here, but again, a few more showers could be rolling through after that. So lots of rain expected on Thursday for us. How much are we talking? Well, here's just one prediction: about almost 2 inches of rain here in Norman into the later half of this week. So you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on that. We're going to be tracking it also for the chance of flooding. As those rain chances come through, the temperatures do take a dip. So that's some good news if you're looking forward to the holiday lights maybe on Wednesday. It's still going to be warm, but the rain is really what we need at this time, guys.
Thanks, Aiden. I know I'm certainly excited to potentially get a free car wash on Thursday.
Right?
That's what I was going to say, the same thing. I've been putting off my car wash because I've seen the rain in the forecast. But I wouldn't be surprised if I go home and my roommates have written, like, wash me on the car. It's pretty bad.
Lots of rain we could use because it's been a long time since we've had it.
But happy birthday to the Sooner State that might get some rain this weekend. Yesterday, November 16th, marks Oklahoma's 118th birthday. In 1907, Oklahoma officially became the 46th state of the United States. And it was President Theodore Roosevelt that signed the proclamation, making it official. And coming up, in sports, one Sooner squad traveled to the East Coast and left with a convincing win.
And one former Sooner keeps setting records for his pro team.
Kevin, a couple of OU football players performed so well against Alabama that the SEC decided to hand them awards for their efforts. I'll have who won what and more next in sports.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable. Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/act now.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Hello, I'm Chris Holman, and it's time for sports. The only time OU football traveled to Tuscaloosa, they took down the Tide 20-13 back in 2003. OU Nightly sports reporter Landon Thomas has more on how the Sooners recreated that performance.
Hard to kill. That's the defensive mentality the Sooner locker room has been preaching over the last week as they headed to Tuscaloosa to take on the Crimson Tide, and it absolutely showed out in their 23-21 win. The keys to the game were that the Sooners forced 4 sacks, had 3 takeaways, and it included an 87-yard pick six to cornerback Eli Bowen that helped set up that hard-to-kill mentality the rest of the way.
We forced, some big-time turnovers. Sometimes that, when it's said the way it said, it's like, oh, well, if that hadn't happened. Well, it did happen, number one. And number two, we forced them with, great pressure up front, guys running the ball, hawking at the football. There are several times we didn't get the ball, but if you're paying attention, and really kind of lifting up the hood and looking at it for what it is, man, our guys were attacking the football.
Man, we was on his tail for not getting that. We were just having fun, but yeah, we just knew we had to get it back. We knew that turnovers are a big part of this game and winning this game, and we just had to make everyone we could. So we knew that not getting that, we had to make a play.
We knew what our defense was about. Ever since we got these guys in on the off-season, spring ball, fall camp, it was just haymakers. I said it before. It's just haymakers going back and forth. And this team is just so talented. We have such a high ceiling, and like I've been saying, we haven't played our best ball yet, and that wasn't our best ball. So we have a lot of stuff to learn on, but the biggest thing is we came out with a victory, and that's all that matters.
Reporting in Tuscaloosa, Landon Thomas, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Landon. After the Sooners win over the Crimson Tide, they now have a 94% chance to make the college football playoffs, according to ESPN, and are now sitting inside the top 10 of the AP poll for the first time since Week 7. Not 1, not 2, but 3 OU football players received SEC awards today. Eli Bowen was named Defensive Player of the Week after an 87-yard pick six to put the Sooners up 10-0 in the first quarter. Taylor Wine had a sack and a forced fumble and was awarded Defensive Lineman of the Week. And Tate Sandell earned Special Teams Player of the Week after making 3 field goals, including one from 52 yards out. In the NFL, Mark Andrews racked up 67 total yards and a touchdown against the Browns and set a Ravens franchise record for receiving yards, helping Baltimore win 23-16. Baker Mayfield threw for 173 yards and had 2 total touchdowns, but it wasn't enough as the Bills took down the Buccaneers 44-32. Jalen Hurts passed for 135 yards and had a score on the ground as the Eagles defeated the Lions 16-9. And OU women's basketball went on a hike to face Western Carolina and put on a show, taking down the Catamounts 95-32, thanks to a 21-point, 10-rebound performance from Reagan Beers. She also had some help from Aaliyah Chavez, who had 19 points and 5 assists. Kevin, Colson.
Thanks, Chris. Speaking of the Sooner football, upsetting the number 4 team in the nation calls for some celebration.
And the Sooner locker room certainly has you covered. We'll have a look into how the team feels after the win coming up.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
I'm Andrew Paredes at the OU Nightly Update Desk. OG&E blames equipment issues for a large power outage in Norman over the weekend. Here's video of Campus Corner during the blackout Saturday night. It was affected many local bars and restaurants in the area. Around 20,000 Norman residents lost power, and many in Norman reported hearing loud boom sounds. OG&E tells OU Nightly that those booms were actually fireworks and thus were unrelated to the outage. Power has since been restored to all those affected. Kevin Colson.
All right, thanks, Andrew. While fans and students in Norman spent the night celebrating the Sooners' win in Alabama, the team had their fair share of fun, taking photos on the logo at midfield.
Not only that, freshman defensive back Cortland Guillory went live on TikTok from the locker room, showing Brent Venables holding up a large OU chain, as well as just like Stone Cold Steve Austin, opening a can of something. Now, Aiden, I mean, everyone's kind of flying high with these warm weathers, but in your forecast, you kind of alluded to a drop back down with the rain.
Yes, absolutely. We're still going to be warm for probably a few more days in the 70s. Probably not going to see 80, hopefully. I'm not a huge fan of the warm weather, but we are going to get closer to those fall-like temperatures with rain coming on Thursday. So that's when the good chance for rain is, and also when those temperatures are going to start cooling down back into the 60s and 50s.
I mean, that 59 on Saturday for the 11 a.m. kickoff, I'm happy with that.
It might be a little chilly since it's 11 a.m. kickoff, but much more fall-like. You can break a sweatshirt out, jeans, you'll be good.
Especially, I've been waiting for an excuse to wear boots and jeans to a game.
Yes.
It's just like hot day after hot day after hot day.
We're finally there. It feels like football season again.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for watching OU Nightly. I am Colson Pocock.
And I'm Kevin Daniel. Be sure to watch OU Nightly live weekdays at 4:30. Good night.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can